Hello, dear family. How are you? Welcome to Herculaneum Part 4. Buonasera a tutti. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How are you today? How are you? Let's see the chat. We have hello Tish, hello Polly, Susan, David, Judith. Hello everyone. I'm just waiting a couple of minutes. You have been both Herculaneum and Pompeii down to Amalfi Coast is spectacular. Hello, Satim. I'm fine. I'm very fine. Today it's a wonderful temperature. I'm not sure how many degrees we have. Let me check right now. 25. Very good. 25 degrees. Good. So it's not so bad. And perfect stay in the garden now with a little bit of breeze. That's perfect. That's perfect. Let's wait another extra minutes and then we start our great experience to Ercolano. That's the place that we are finishing our saga around this beautiful archaeological site, honestly. And today we will have some highlights. I mean, today we can explore some areas of Herculaneum with beautiful, beautiful frescoes. So let's check the chat. Still, someone is writing. I couldn't find you and I was not notified. I don't know, Connie, what is happening. We have quite few friends joining now, and I think it's time to start our adventure through Herculaneum. Remember that you can leave your questions in the chat. I'm always checking the chat since I have this other device, so we can make everything very, very interactive. So, I'm gonna start now the tour, so I will make the video. I went there another time, so the temperature, well, I'm sorry, I mean the weather was much better since the first 3 episodes. And then let's enter Herculaneum through a bridge that I call a time machine, because it will give us the chance to move from our time to the Roman age. 3, 2, 1, enjoy. So that is the bridge. That is a perfect connection in between the modern city of Ercolano and the new and the old one. We already have been above the terrace, that is the Mount Vesuvius over there behind the modern Ercolano, and then all of this part of the town has been completely covered and excavated during the 1700s and in the 20th century. That tunnel, it goes through the mud that totally buried the site for about 65 feet. One of the last excavations that happened to Herculaneum was during the 1980s, where was found the ancient docks with a terrace, and was born this connection with the new city and the old one, where now we are actually walking. We are in this cardo, the cardo number 3, where we have on both sides higher sidewall to avoid water could go inside the different homes, because Herculaneum was mainly residential, and the few shops. Every single sidewalk had also like a awning outside the entrance of homes, like in this case we are walking through, and where this gentleman is standing, that was the so-called atrium or atrium, with a little impluvium with still some of the original marble remained. The water went to the underground cistern, and this broken column on the floor, it's called a puteale, we have seen in other several places, was used as a well to get the water from the underground. The house was built above the warehouse, above the terrace, facing the west, so the sunset. But it's special, this house, not just for the well that we can see right now in our screen, but for the great garden that has been completely restored with the same kind of trees and flowers that they had in this very long peristelium. To the left side, I don't know if you can see, but there is a wall, that is a modern wall, because above we have the modern Herculaneum. So actually this villa It's not completely excavated. It's excavated only for the right side, where you see the columns, and above the columns the empty keys for the wooden beams, because there was also a portion of this peristelium with a roof, able to make a shade or cover for the rain. The columns are made of local bricks, plastered. The effect was similar to marble. All of the little rooms were hospitalia, mainly rooms used for relaxing moment, made with opus reticulatum and bricks and tufa stone. The opus reticulatum is one of the most famous technique of construction that even Pliny the Elder described very well along his book called Naturalis Historia. Every line of tufelli, in that case little tufa cones, could share the weight in four different corners, so the structure was way stronger. The capitelli, the head of the columns, made of plaster, reminds a lot of the Corinthian style, even if it's not a proper Corinthian column because it's very big. Then we have also half columns connected with the pillars. So, because that was a very big peristelium, they need a lot of support for the second floor. This room is still with a lot of beautiful red color, the cinnabar, most of the time used. In the middle of this panel, we have also a little painting showing an ideal temple with some trees in the background. That is something painted in between the time of Augustus and Nero. So we are in the early first century AD. It was a very big fashion for that time. This architectural design with some images painted right in the middle of a plain panel. Hello everyone, ciao Trudy. The villa again, and now I'm showing you a portion of a tunnel. It's not excavated completely, since as we learned, Ercolano is only discovered for 1/4. The excavation started in 1738 under the King Charles the Bourbon with the so-called wells and tunnels, pozzi and cunicoli. Alcubierre was one of the first excavators, and unfortunately that is one of the tunnel. They could not remove all of the mud. The technology of that time was not giving them the chance to remove so much material, so they stopped it, and we had a second big excavations part during the 20th century with the archaeologist Amedeo Maiuri. So it means that this tunnel goes under modern homes, but 3/4 of Herculaneum it's under modern homes. That 3/4 now is very well preserved because no one could touch, even if some of the excavations went through tunnels, and we know how extended is the city, where some buildings are located, like the basilica, like the theater, but the structure are still there, and that it's a really interesting thing. This villa had two gates, two doors. I went through one and then I went out through another one. We are on the side just in the south of, at the western corner actually now, to the bathhouse. But before going to the central part of Herculaneum, I would like to show you one of the most not famous but very interesting homes, the House of the Skeleton, so-called the Casa dello Scheletro, where at the entrance there was also a very particular and beautiful mosaic. We will go there very soon, but first enjoy and see this perfect staircase. Even Herculaneum, like Pompeii or any other Roman colony, had the so-called insula, which is like a sort of a modern district quarter, extended in vertical. The second floor, people living in a smaller flat, had stairs. Most of the time they were made of wood, but also, like in this case of Herculaneum, they were made of proper stone. We are in the middle of a crossroad, where this road, it goes, where you can see now to the screen, but then have to stop, because we have a modern wall protecting part of the city that is placed above. And right in the corner of this crossroad, we have one of the most beautiful and preserved Roman restaurants of Ercolano, the so-called Thermopolium, with the top made of marble still there, and all of the jars, the so-called dolium, perfectly intact. Imagine their lids closing them and food inside. It could be any kind of soup of legumes, or let's say seafood, a lot of bread, cheese, vegetables of the season. That is clay now inside to avoid that when it's raining, water could make damage to the structure. For sure, there was a ceiling, but that is gone because that was part of the damage of the eruption. That was a structured part of another home. And then it's missing completely all the upper floor. Even if most of the walls in Herculaneum are more preserved than the other side for the verticalism, for the vertical preservation. But then let's go back inside the house of the skeleton that I mentioned with you before. The house has a very unique and beautiful mosaic on the floor made of basalt. You will see soon. Here we are with these little pieces of triangular marble, giving us like a sort of a sense to enter inside, like a sort of a narrow, let's say, fall of the sign, fall of the line to go inside the house. The floor here of the atrium has been restored in a 1994 restoration, and that's why it's missing the impluvium. Like most of the homes around the atrium were completely destroyed. That's because most of the damage during the floating of Herculaneum for the Lahar literally destroyed part of this house more than any other buildings in this Roman colony. But the back, the inner part of the home, that has been very well preserved. Where we can see this unusual pavement made with a slate, which is this black material. Sorry, my dogs are seeing someone. We have also some pieces of marble. This is called opus sectile from all over the Roman Empire, and then this little corner with a shrine made that is spectacular. Family, look at that. That shrine is made with a little tessera of glass paste made with colors, and that beautiful viridarium, which is a painted garden on a wall. That is really, really spectacular. Where we have also this awning made of metal that was used with a sail to make shade during a very hot day in front of this dining room that you will see soon. But first, enjoy the decorations of this little shrine, where inside was cast a sculpture, bronze or marble. That was a place where there was a part of a water, and most of the frescoes has been destroyed, but we could see a portion of it. That is breathtaking, it's true. That is the dining room with this very special and advanced way to paint the wall with an apse. That is the shape of an apse, very unusual, with this yellow, with a contrast with the bottom and the floor. The floor is spectacular. The floor is made with this piece of marble and slate, this school board material, which is one of the most expensive floor ever discovered, because a mosaic for sure is expensive and you should have a specialized artist. But to cut something like that so precise, that is even harder than a tessera of a mosaic. I really like this floor. That's why I wanted to show you. It's very, very special. Again, we are going out from the atrium where is missing the impluvium, because that has been completely devastated during the eruption. The wood that you can see there, that's modern, because when we do excavations, we need to fill back when the wood has been destroyed, burned, collapsed. Otherwise, it will crash. That is another inner garden, let's say, like a sort of a nymphaeum in this same house, even if the central three panels and the niche there, it's the replica. The original things are in the Museum of Naples, while the marble on the floor, that is still the original one, right in front of another dining room, this triclinium, with the floor totally made of small texture of marble to make this very interesting mosaic. Again, it's not one of the most famous homes of Herculaneum, and it's not one of the uh, the most um, how can say decorated homes. But I think it's very very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, that's the replicas of the panels. While to the left, that mosaics made of glass paste. That's its original. That is still that is an nymphaeum that's supposed to be like a kind of a fountain, filling with the water that small corner with a marble. So let's leave now the home because we have other interesting things to visit. In this little room at the exit, there was a latrine, like a sort of a, it is a, not a sort, it is a proper toilet, connected with the extended sewage system that Herculaneum has in almost the best part of the excavated city. Studying the underground sewage has been a very important study since we could find carbonized excrement, some objects lost there, coins, and then we can understand a lot of new info. For example, with a more accuracy, we can tell you the season of the eruption that we knew. It was August, but then we changed recently to the end of October. There were some other houses. This one that we are going. That is, I went there to show you in the best way the contrast in between the end of the excavations and the beginning of the new city. So this villa should be for sure beautiful because the decoration that we have into the peristelium is great. Look at that great fountain in the middle with that cross shape. But then I have to stop. The wall that you can see in the north corner of it, that is a modern wall, and we don't know how extended it is because there is such big material of volcanic mud that is, for example, is a second floor that collapsed and now it's mixed in this modern wall. But who knows how big and how much beauty we could still find in this villa. That is only one part of it, with a little room right there with the frescoes and the entrance of this inner pool with the garden, the peristelium. But all the main rooms are completely covered. So really, Ercolano, it's sad for one side because we can't go so much under the homes since the volcano is still active. And then imagine if it would be a seismic wave of a earthquake, that would be very big problem for the homes placed above. But I mean, on the other hand, the other portion of the city, it's at the moment the best preservation ever, more than any other site. Maybe in the future will be a project, who knows? At the moment, we can't dig so much through the mud. That is one columns and that is a part of a carbonized wooden beams for the upper floor. Let's leave now the house. That is a corner of the bathhouse where we have been last time. That is the male section entrance connected with a gymnasium with a proper pool. We were yesterday there, right? The part 3. Connected with the outside of the bath, there was also a public toilet. This channel that you can see on the floor, we need to imagine some holes, the latrines, where people did their business, and then, like a flash, this a small tunnel made of tiles could flash down to the underground sewage, all the excrements, and then the city was clean. That was directly built on the sea, easy, because the pendants could move everything out. So all of the left part of this cardo number 3, there were entrance of shops, entrance of some homes, as you have seen, but still all completely covered, all completely buried. While the part to the right, where you can see now this clay downpipe, that has been excavated. Yes, I think that after these four episodes of Herculaneum, you will get much more know-how of this archaeological site. Then you can talk with your friends if they are coming to the Bay of Napoli, you might ask them, you can suggest them, I'm sorry, to visit Herculaneum. That is a beautiful little mosque on top of the entrance of this other home, where the impluvium in the middle has these very tall 4 columns, intact, made of bricks. At the entrance, also a kitchen. That was a kitchen with a little oven on top, preparing food for sure. There was also an underground waste channel connected directly with the road underground. The impluvium had a cistern beneath, and then the other part of the home on the back side, where we can still see some remains of fresco. That was a passage that the servants could do, passing through the atrium and the tablinum. The tablinum is the room where now we are, with this very elegant contrast of red color with this cream on the very upper part, with the geometrical lines and square with the dolphins painted in the middle. This little window, it goes inside this room where we are, and this other private room. We can still see the remains of the window frame, because every single window of Black Doors, they had a wooden frame. And then privacy, actually. I think we are enjoying this place, these archaeological sites. That is the inner peristelium, with a shrine for the household guardians, the house gods, the so-called lares. They discovered also several statues made of bronze with the lares. Now most of the artifacts from Herculaneum, more than Pompeii, are in the Archaeological Museum in Naples. And it's also interesting, while we see the remains, the last part of this house, it's interesting to know that at the beginning of the excavation, so we are talking about the first half of the 1700s, the King Charles of Bourbon, before the building and the opening of the actual museum, that was under Ferdinando, his son, and was at the end of the 18th century, at the beginning with the King Charles, the museum that was not in Naples but in the Royal Palace of Portici. I really suggest you to go there if you are around, or I will be there with you live in some of my tours. The Royal Palace of Portici was literally built at the feet of the volcano and towards the sea. That was the first spot for a museum called Museo Ercolanense. There was also an academia, there was also like a proper royal society, let's say, for the archaeological study and the art history. There were many artists working there, and also there was also a press. There was a press where the King Charles wanted to share with all over the Europe, with ambassadors, with some royal families spread out all over the different countries of the European continent, the new discoveries coming from the excavations under his kingdom. That's a very interesting fact that I was telling, because there are not so many guides or books talking about this fact. But then the museum moved from Portici, which is the royal palace, to Naples, to avoid the waste, to avoid the problem of the volcano, because the Mount Vesuvius was still erupting, and then the royal palace was right at the feet of that place. Imagine having such beauty, but then still under the volcano. That was a big issue. What do you think, family, about this story? Good. I was telling that, but now we are reaching another very interesting spot of the city, which is the highlights of the whole 4 episodes, the so-called Sacellum of Augustales. This little place was the custodian room where was discovered the carbonized body of a guardian that was sleeping while the volcano erupted, and then he died under the falling of the roof, and then the steam literally destroyed him, and that is the most beautiful fresco of Herculaneum. Herculaneum literally means city founded by Hercules, and that's why in this room that was dedicated to the cult of the Emperor Augustus, so built right in the 1st century AD, That is Hercules fighting with the god Achelo. The pose of Hercules reminds a lot the Greek statuary of the 5th century BC. And to the other side, that's Hercules at the Mount Olympus with Zeus, Hera, and Juno and Minerva. Hercules is the man sat on the right side with a lion skin. We can also see very small details of theater masks, then the perspective, and this beautiful architectural design. This is the famous Fourth Roman style, where you can see on top of that some beautiful two horses moving a chariot with a woman with wings, the so-called Victory, or Vittoria in Latin, or Nike in Greek. It's pronounced now wrongly Nike, but that is the brand. In Greek, it's Nike, like the beautiful temple in Athens of Athena, Nike. Victory. So this room, that is a little square with lapis lazuli pigments, the perspective with this spectacular draws, was painted right after the earthquake of 62. So it's in the full of the Roman fort style. Huh? Thank you, Rose. That's Hercules. Look how spectacular is that. Let me make a little pause, a little stop in the video, so you can actually enjoy the movement, the plastic movement of the body of Hercules, fighting with the god Achelo, while the floor of this room, it's all opus sectile, and the piece of marble are from all over the Roman Empire. So that was like a geopolitic map where the empire was extended. That is the second floor, because we discovered also the second floor there. We should say that this building was excavated for a first part in the 1740s by Alcubierre, but then the biggest of the excavations happened under Amedeo Maiuri. The carbonized beams supporting the second floor, as you can see there. It was also discovered an important plate made of marble telling us the name of the two brothers who paid for this building. The name of the two brothers was Lucius Proculus and Lucius Julianus, who paid for the construction of this building, but also they paid for a party, like a sort of a big dinner for the Augustales and Decurioni, a team of people who take care about the administration of the city. So this building was connected with something bigger, the so-called Augusteum, that unfortunately it's still for the best part under the material of the pyroclastic flow. That is only portion of this Augusteum excavated, which is an arch with 4 entrances called Arco Quadrifronte, where we still see some of the beautiful and original plaster decoration, like a modern coffer ceiling. That is the figure of an athlete reclined on a symposium on a bed. We need to imagine all of this beautiful cream plaster covered with the colors. During the excavations with the tunnels of the Augusteum, the archaeologists found a lot of bronze and marble statues and beautiful frescoes, now all exposed in the brand new sections of the National Museum of Napoli, opened a few months ago. So this was the important welcome card of Herculaneum on the main road that was also used as a forum. But again, the right side of the screen, it's all completely buried. The panel that you can see now, those are showing some of the statues found during the excavation with the tunnel of the Augusteum, and the 3D render to the left, the top corner, that is showing us how was this beautiful building. That is a 3D model. The best part of that building, family, it's under the mud. Those are the statues now in the museum showing the god, but the Emperor Claudius, the Emperor Augustus, and the Emperor Titus. Those are the frescoes still found around the walls of the Exedra. But where is? It's under this modern wall. It's still there. Still waiting for the future. Who knows? It's one of the most important buildings discovered, and we can tell you that they were found also some list of people For the theory is that they were all freed slaves who invested money to be part and closer to the imperial family, because the freed slaves could not be part of the political life. So to show off, to be seen better to the community, they were investing money and they were part of the Augustales. Even if the list of the members written on that marble slabs were too many, maybe we think that there was a list of the freed slaves or the citizens of Herculaneum. And right in the middle of the main streets where yesterday we stopped at our tour, we can see behind, unfortunately the reflection is not the best, we can see some important things like that. I need to make a stop because you must see this is a very unique wine list. That is a proper menu where each carafe had the cucumas, which is the little room to the right, that was a wine bar. We have the price from the right, the cheapest wine to the left, the most expensive wine that they could buy right there. That is a so modern concept. Asse was the currency that they used. Each stick is the number of asse, while beneath there Nola, Nola, that is the name of a Roman colony. 45 minutes today far from Herculaneum, and that was an advertisement for a gladiators fight, which means people were traveling from a place to another watching gladiators games. That is, yesterday you have seen that is the plumber, and yesterday we have been next to the shop of the plumber where you can see the replicas of some statues, now part of a little exhibition right outside the entrance of Herculaneum site. We also have seen part of the uh, the main streets yesterday we ended, and then that is the pillar of the aqueduct. And yesterday we actually ended the tour right there. That is part of the original. It's good to have a recap to create a connections of what we stopped at yesterday, what we could discover today. That is towards the seaside, and right at the end of this connection, dear family, I have an incredible surprise for you. So stay with me, don't move from your chair, because we have an incredible surprise to see. When the professor did the excavations of the ancient shoreline, he discovered something unbelievable. Just a couple of minutes and then we go and explore this little surprise. That is the fountain showing Venus Anadyomene, so-called, squeezing, washing airs next to a seashell where the tap was placed. Remember to share my channel with your family, with your friends. You can comment, will help me a lot. Also thumbs up if you liked the video, and remember always that I'm very happy to see your coffee popping on as a notifications on my phone. Thank you very much for yesterday, dear family. Thank you, thank you. You can find all of the description how to leave any coffee or donations through PayPal into the below part of this video. So ready now to go and see this spectacular surprise. Just another few seconds, because when they made the excavation down to the shoreline, they have to build also a sort of a little museum to show some of the little artifacts, especially carbonized, made of bronze or made of wood, found during that portion of the site. And then that is the chance where we can see this place. Thank you, Dalia. Thank you very much. Thank you for the hearts that you are sending, dear family. That it's so great to see for me. Oh, thank you. That's a party one. Here you are. Now we are inside this place where you can see the render of the ancient seashore. Unfortunately, some pictures of the victim. That is the so-called ring lady, with some jewelry that she was carrying with her during the last hours of her life. Look at the rings. Ring lady, that's very sad. And right there, where they found the bodies, that was the ancient docks. That is the whole plan of how many people, 300 victims of the eruption. The professor found the boat. That is the surprise, a boat flipped over, full of amphoras down there. Those are part of the roads, an anchor for that incredible thing. But the boat of Herculaneum is a must to visit when you are there. I know you say, where is the boat? I'm going up there to show you. Here you are. The portion of the material beneath the boat, that's a modern fiber supporting the carbonized wood, because the boat was found flipped over, carbonized, and is one of the oldest ever found in the world Roman boats. That that is so spectacular to see something like this after 2000 years, well, almost in the same location where it was. I'm going up to this platform so you can see better now the whole boat of Herculaneum. Here you are, family. 9 meters for 2.20. That is literally spectacular. Still with the metal nails inside. Enjoy it. That's incredible, I was telling you. It's literally stunning. So we could complete the whole 4 episodes of Herculaneum with such a big treasure from the past. Good, family. Let me come back to you. I hope that you could enjoy, no, these 4 episodes together. That putting together, it will be like a sort of a movie of 2 hours, talking about Herculaneum and all of the treasures of that site. I'm gonna plan the calendar for August, so stay tuned, stay with me, follow the channel, turn up the bell with the notifications. Follow also, please, my Facebook and Instagram channels, which is called the Grand Tour Experience, and I have another one dedicated only for the Bay of Naples, which is called the Naples Grand Tour. So please share them with all of your family. I will be so happy to have you as my follower. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, thank you. Today it's a perfect evening, and I was so glad to be with you. And hopefully you could enjoy. Remember that you can find down below the description of this tour all of the info. If you want to share your appreciation with me, that would be I would be very happy. And then I'm planning to go live in some other places in August. You know, August is a very busy month for the Italian holidays, but I will find time for you, for all of my dear family connected. Thank you very much. Will be taking us anywhere else? Can we expect? For sure, Tamil. I was just saying that we will go live somewhere else. I will put my list of the new tours in the general guide calendar, but please follow my channel, because there you can also see some live tour that I will go last minute that I could not add into the general guide calendar. So the only thing that you need to face to know where I'm posting tour, it's my YouTube channel. Now I deserve a glass of wine. That's true, Susan. Thank you very much. Thank you for your coffee. Thank you for your donations, everything. Grazie, family. See you very soon from other incredible adventure with Raffaele and your private archaeologist. Ciao a tutti, buonasera. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. Ciao.